All right, so I know it does say quiz number 2 review, and we haven't actually taken a quiz number 1. Your quiz number 1 was basically your knowledge check, but it doesn't count against you. It just, as long as you get it done, it's going to count for you. But we label our quizzes based on the week number. So this is quiz number 2, meaning there's going to be week 2. So that's the quiz for week 2. So quiz number 2 is quiz for week 2. And like I told you guys, there's some questions that I'm not doing on this review, and those are the ones that say to use a calculator. Okay, we're not going to do those. Like, those are just kind of calculator based, no big deal. So you're just going to basically put those in and then press enter and you'll get the answers. Okay, but we're going to be doing the ones that you got to do by hand. So first one right here, it says evaluate. And they give us the quantity of 2 plus 3 and then times 6. Okay, so parentheses is always done first, right? You're trying to do the order of operations. So parentheses is going to be done first. We are going to add 2 plus 3. That's going to give you a 5. And then you still have a times 6, and a 5 times 6 is 30. Remember, guys, these come from your quiz. Obviously, I changed the numbers, but they come from your quiz. That means there are questions that are that fast. It doesn't take too long. Normally, a 20-question quiz is not what we want to do. Too many questions if it's 20 questions. But when they're this fast, it's not that big a deal. Okay? So, all right, there's the first one. By the way, if you have any questions, just let me know. Okay? Here's the second one. So the quantity of 4 minus 7 squared and plus 2. Quantity of 4 minus 7 squared plus 2. So we're going to start off with the parenthesis, right? 4 minus 7 is going to give me what? Negative 3, right? And negative 3 squared is 9. But if you put it on your calculator, be careful, because if you don't put a parenthesis around it, it's going to give you negative 9. Okay? Anytime you're going to square something that has a negative, make sure you put a parenthesis around it. But that's going to be 9 plus 2, which is 11, and you're done. Okay? So you can see why 20 questions we weren't too scared to give that to you. Normally we'd be like, they're going to be working for an hour, right? But it's not bad. Okay, question number 3. 6 minus 20 over 4 plus 6 plus 2. And by the way, if you review this stuff tonight, look over your homework as well. Okay, always look over your homework as well. There's always more examples there. Anything that you're not understanding, just double check through homework or through this. All right, so order of operations tells us we got to do parentheses first. Well, we don't have any. Exponents next. We don't have any. Multiplication or division. Well, we do have a division, 20 divided by 4 plus 6. I can't simplify the top, but I can simplify the bottom. Our 4 plus 6 is going to give us a 10. So that's going to be 10 right here. I can continue dividing. 20 divided by 10, that's going to be 2. So it's 6 minus 2 plus 2. 6 minus 2 is 4. 4 plus 2 is 6. So your solution here will be 6. And if you have any questions you want to ask, feel free. Well, you might notice some of these things look kind of familiar, right? You might say, well, that reminds me of like question number 4 or 5 from homework 2.1a. Like I told you guys before, all quizzes are based on your homework. So as long as you do your homework and you understand it, the quizzes should be pretty much the same thing. Okay, so you'll notice a lot of little things that are similar. All right, so we have xy to the power of 2. So the product of x times y to the power of 2. X is going to be 3. Y is going to be negative 4. So I'm going to go ahead and put those numbers in. So x is 3. Y is negative 4. And we're going to square it. Excuse me. So 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. And negative 12 squared, anybody know it? 144. There we go. Thank you. And hopefully right now you're seeing nothing to be scared about, okay? Just make sure you practice this at home just once, right? Just take a look at it. Make sure that you understand what you need to do, and you should be okay. Usually in most math classes, the first quiz is usually the worst because people are trying to get used to the teacher. They don't know what kind of questions the teacher is going to be giving them, and they don't know how to study. I'm giving you all that information beforehand so that if you put some time into it, you should be okay. Right? 144, yeah. For that one, 144. So, do you want me to keep it up to see? Okay. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and simplify this one, question number 5. We have x minus 5 plus 2x plus 9. So this is combining like terms, okay? Combining like terms. I'm going to get my variables first. X plus 2x, that's going to give me 3x. And then negative 5 plus 9, that's going to give me a positive 4. I cannot put this together, okay? One is a term with a variable. One doesn't have variables, so you're basically done. So that's it. Again, this is why 20 questions isn't terrible. They're not too hard to do. All right, question number 6. Negative 3 minus the quantity of negative 2 plus y. There's a lot of negatives in this problem, but mostly because I want to remind you guys that if there is a negative in front of a parenthesis, you should... Yeah, you're going to change it up, right? You're going to distribute it in, so it's going to change things inside. Okay? So we have negative 3 plus 2 minus y. And then from there, negative 3 plus 2 is negative 1. So negative 1 minus y is going to be your solution. Again, nothing too terribly difficult, so hopefully it's okay for you guys. And by the way, just so you guys know, today our schedules change. Remember, I think I told you guys that we're supposed to have an extended lunch today. So I think every period is 2 minutes shorter. So I think, I'll double check, we get out at 9:20 today, okay, instead of 9:22.
Why is it extended lunch?
They're going to want the staff to go and take a staff photo because we didn't do it in the beginning. So I think they're going to want us in the gym to go take a picture there. So we figure they give us 15 minutes, we should be able to get it done. So, but yeah, you guys will enjoy the extra 15 minutes. We'll be taking a picture. All right, now after question 6, that's when all those calculator questions pop up. Okay, where they say, okay, here's this one, do it on your calculator. Here's this one, do it on your calculator. And then after that, these happen. So again, I've ignored those other ones, okay? I've ignored the other ones where you're going to just use a calculator. Because for that, I mean, you just got to literally press buttons. So you should be okay with that. So, all right, right here we're going to solve. So kind of like what we did earlier, we're going to combine like terms, but then solve at the end. So I'm going to put my x's together. X plus 5x is 6x plus 3. Equals 21. Now, since I want to isolate my variable for x, I'm going to subtract 3 on both sides. So minus 3 on both sides. Okay? So that gives me 6x equals to 18. Thank you. And if I divide both sides by 6, what's my answer? 3, right? So if I divide by 6, I get x equal to 3. Thank you. So that's done. Bless you, by the way. So there you go. Then we got 3 more, 8, 9, and 10. Again, I'm just trying to go over the whole quiz, right? As much of it as I can kind of show you without giving you the actual questions. Which, by the way, you never know. I have been known to every once in a while give you a quiz with basically the same homework problems that you had before. Okay? it's not below me to do that, okay? Because that's the way I check to see, are you doing your homework or is someone else doing it and you're just copying it down, right? So every once in a while you might see 2 or 3 questions that look really familiar. Sometimes you might see a whole test that looks familiar because I'm checking everything, right? Sometimes they'll all be different, okay? So it's pretty easy for me to do. I press a button, it changes every problem, right? Or I press another button and it only changes like 4. Okay, so the computer decides what you're gonna get. I just double check, make sure it's fair, and then I print it out. So, all right, here's number 8. 3 plus 2 times the quantity of 4e minus 2 equals to 79. So first thing we can do 2 steps. We can either subtract 3 on both sides first or multiply the 2. But since order of operation tells you multiplication goes first, then let's do that. Okay, we're going to multiply first. So this gives me 3 plus 8e minus 4 equals to 79. All right, I can combine the 3 and the minus 4. So 3 minus 4 is negative 1 plus 8e equals to 79. And I'm going to get that negative 1 and push it over to the other side. So we'll add 1 to both sides. So 8e is equal to 80. So if I divide both sides by 8, my answer is what? 10, okay? So we're done. So you guys are finishing writing this out here. I just want to remind you guys, if you have not finished your knowledge check, okay, the one we did on Alex, if you kind of stopped and never finished it, make sure you get it done, okay? Because your homework will not show up on Alex until that knowledge check is finished. I know there's still a couple people who have not done it. I will start calling you out by tomorrow if you don't have it done, okay? Got to make sure you guys have the opportunity to do the homework. I even got an email yesterday from a couple of students, not just one, but more than one. I think I got 3 that told me, Mr. V, I finished the 5 Alex assignments and I did the extra 5, right? So I just responded back like, good, now you have extra credit, right? By the way, you don't have to email me to tell me you did it. I will find out. It does tell me. But I appreciate the fact that you guys are making sure that I know that. I think the reason why they emailed me is because they got extra credit. They want to make sure I know that. But don't worry, the program knows you did 10. It'll automatically give you the extra credit. So yeah, so don't wonder if I'm not going to see it. I will definitely see it. Okay. But I'm glad you guys already started and you finished. Did anybody here already do the homework? I'm just curious. The Alex homework? No? Okay. I wanted to know how long it took you. I'll ask the next class and see. And I'll let you know. But usually it's like 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Okay. All right, so here we go. What am I going to do first? Distribute? Can I distribute into an absolute value? No, right? So what do I do first?
Divide.
Divide, right? Get that 3 out of here. So let's divide. So I'm going to be left with the absolute value of 2n minus 1 equal to 4. Now the absolute value is all by itself. It's just absolute value of 2n minus 1. So now you're going to break it apart, right? You're going to get 2 different sets of equations. So 2n minus 1 equals 4. And 2n minus 1 equals to negative 4. Okay? So remember, that's the only change you're going to do is one's going to be negative. Okay? By the way, when you guys do your work, try to be as clean as possible or as much as you have to do, because I do give points I give partial credit. Like if you got the question wrong, I'll check to see if your work was basically there and then you messed up, and I will give you partial credit. But if I can't make sense of your work, I can't give you anything. Okay? So try your best to show what you got to show and be neat about it. All right, so on the left side equation, we're going to add 1. So that's 2n is equal to 5. And I'm going to divide by 2, but it doesn't go in evenly, but that's okay. Fractions exist, so that's going to be a 5/2. Okay, do the same thing with the other side. All right, we're going to add 1 to both sides. So that's 2n equal to negative 4 plus 1 is negative 3. We'll divide both sides by 2, and again we are going to have a fraction, not a big deal. So those are my two solutions. I'm just going to write them over here on the side as a set. So negative 3 halves, 5 halves. Actually, I think I did do 11 questions. I'm trying to think right now. Any questions on this one? Alright, so far that might be like the hardest question we've done. Alright, number 10 should be relatively quick. What do I do as a first step here? Multiply, right? Let's get that absolute value all by itself. So we're going to multiply. Absolute value of y is equal to 12, right? Now since the absolute value is all by itself, I get to break it up into two problems. Y equals to 12, y equals to negative 12. And since there's not really anything I can do from here, I'm done. Okay, so my answers are negative 12 and 12. I think this is why I did 11, because I'm like, that one's really easy. Let me show them one more of these absolute value problems. So again, just multiply it out, break it apart, and solve. And here we don't have to solve anything, so we're pretty good. All right, this is the last one. I promise. Right, so according to order of operations, I'm supposed to multiply first, right? But since I cannot multiply 2 into an absolute value, because you're not supposed to distribute into an absolute value, then I'm kind of stuck. I have to go on to the next step and do either addition or subtraction. So I'm going to get that 5 in the front, and I'm going to move it over to the right side by subtracting it on both sides. Okay, so minus 5 on both sides. So that gives me 2. Absolute value of y minus 3 is equal to negative 14. Okay. Now at this point, since I can't distribute, I can only divide, like what I did in the previous 2 problems ago, right? I can divide by 2. So I'm going to divide everything by 2, and I get this. The absolute value of y minus 3 is equal to negative 7. All right, what do I do next? I can't do it, right? No solution. An absolute value cannot be equal to a negative number, so just write no solution. And that's it.